Welcome back. I wanted to get something off my chest and seek advice from the Reddit community. My husband, 36 male, and I, 34, were married for 3 years. And for the most part, our relationship was strong. We had our fair share of challenges, but always worked through them together. My husband had this best friend from college. Let's call him Mark, 35. Mark had been a massive part of my husband's life for years, and they were like brothers. He was even the best man at our wedding, which I understood and supported. However, my husband's work has recently consumed more and more of his time. In my husband's absence, he leaned on Mark to fill in. Mark stepped in to help with things around the house, like fixing stuff, taking care of maintenance, and even helping with things that generally required a man's touch. I appreciated Mark's willingness to help. He was genuinely a good guy. One night, my husband once again stayed late at his office. As I was going out, the back door got jammed, and it needed fixing as I'll be staying alone in the house, and it's nighttime. I called my husband, who said he would ask Mark if he could look at it. This came as no surprise to me, so I just agreed. I headed upstairs to shower, but I heard Mark approaching as I was going up. Instead of continuing upstairs, I decided to wait for him at our front door. He emerged from his car and retrieved his toolbox from the trunk of his truck. He looked exceptionally rugged that day, exuding a solid and appealing presence. I waved as he walked closer. I felt a bit embarrassed that he had to do something again at our house, but he seemed happy and in a good mood. I said, "It's not like fixing the back door is urgent. If you have plans or are busy, we can do it another time." But he quickly responded, "No, I'm not doing anything, so there's no problem." I said okay as we walked to our back door. As he checked the door, I went upstairs to shower and prepare for bed. In the middle of my shower, I remembered that I might have left the stove open as I was cooking for dinner. I had to go back downstairs to double check. I was walking down the stairs when I heard footsteps going up. To my surprise, it was Mark. He said that I left the stove open and that he turned it off already. Our eyes interlocked. I leaned in and he started kissing me. I started kissing him back, and everything just happened quickly. After we slept together, he returned to the back door fixing, and I returned to my shower. At that moment, I felt nothing but regret. Days passed, and everything seemed normal between me and my husband. I haven't seen Mark since that night. One Saturday, my husband and I had to attend this get-together with his college friends. Everyone seems to be having a good time, including as I catch up with some of the girls. Suddenly, my husband walked up to me, saying we were going home right then. I was shocked and I thought he was kidding, but he looked grave, and I just got up. On our way home, I kept asking him what was wrong, but he didn't answer, no matter what I said. As we entered our house, he went straight to our bedroom, opened our cabinets, and took all my clothes. He then looked at me and said that he knew everything, that Mark told him everything that happened on that night. He said it was bad enough that I cheated, but cheating with his best friend is unforgivable. He did not want to see me and said that I should right then and there. I did not know what to do. I did pack my bag because I was left with no choice. Does anyone here can give me advice on what I should do? I would do anything to fix my marriage, but I'm so lost I don't know what to do. Any advice would be a great help. Update. Thank you for all your advice, but it's been almost a month and my life has been nothing but miserable. I tried, even begged my husband to give me another chance, but he's completely done with me. He does not want to talk to me. I said everything I could. I slept with Mark one time. Just one time, and I regretted it the minute it ended. But he had already shut me off from his life. He's so convinced in pushing through our divorce. I'm still very lost and don't know what to do. I hope my husband comes to his senses and realizes that I deserve another chance. Update. 3 months has passed and everything went downhill. I will accept that I deserve all of this. My friends slowly shut me off since they heard about the issue. They chose to side with my husband even after I explained myself to them. They judged me with the only mistake I made. I understand they might get mad, but I can't understand how they thought I deserved this much hate from them. My husband continued the divorce even after I begged him 100 times to forgive me. I admit that I did commit a mistake. It's a mistake I would never do again. But divorcing me and throwing all the years we've been together seems too much. I was a great wife to him, but with one mistake. It was as if I was the worst woman he ever met. My ex-husband and Mark remained best friends, and I cannot believe it. Mark and I slept together, and it was both our choices. Both adults committed a mistake. But why am I the one punished while he's remained friends with my husband? Everything's absurd, and I don't think I'll ever get past this. I know I deserve this, but how do I learn to live with what I am and what I have right now? I'm starting my life in a different state, away from everyone who threw me. I'll never forget how they treated me, but I'll use that to motivate me to improve in life. Your actions were shitty. Why would he ever stick around after you let another guy stick it in? As for your friends, they're not obligated to side with you and you've clearly messed up. It's not just one mistake when it involves an affair with your husband's best friend. Your husband has every right to maintain his friendship with Mark if he chooses to do so, though I think he's trolling Mark and you both by doing that. It's time to face the consequences of your actions, learn from this colossal mistake, and focus on personal growth. Let your husband move on with his life, and you should do the same. Maybe, just maybe, you'll grow into a better person who can build healthier relationships in the future. Story 2. Obviously a throwaway, but here goes. I'm a married woman having an affair with a married man. I was faithful for 15 years, and then my husband lost all interest in sex. No matter what I did or tried, he wasn't interested. I'm in good shape, took good care of myself, and am above average in looks. I tried to get my husband to go to the doctor, but he refuses. He is able to perform, just doesn't have an interest. I know it's nothing personal, but it hurts to be rejected over and over again. I was starting to feel ugly and depressed. I thought about leaving, but didn't want to do that to my kids. One night, the kids were at my mom's, and I decided to surprise Hubby with new lingerie. I put it on and sat down on the couch next to him. He ignored me and asked me to move because he was watching TV and I was in his way. He didn't even notice the $100 corset and panties I had bought at Victoria's Secret and had been saving for a night with no kids. That was it. I locked myself in the bathroom and cried for an hour. After he went to bed, oblivious to the fact that I was crying or upset in any way, I went online and created a profile on Ashley Madison. I used a picture of me in a bikini from our vacation and blurred out my face. I was instantly popular. It was a huge ego boost to not be invisible, to be wanted and desired. I didn't do anything for about a month but chat and flirt. After another month of rejection and sexual frustration, I decided to take it to the next level, and I arranged to meet a couple of the guys at Starbucks on 2 different occasions. No sparks, and I was being picky, so I said thanks but no thanks. I started asking for more pictures and did meet up with a guy traveling on business. He was fun, but not really anything other than a one-time thing. It did make me feel good about myself and relieved some of my sexual frustration. At this point, I wasn't really looking for anything, but suddenly I got a message from another member who sparked my interest. We actually chatted for a couple of weeks on and off before we met up. When I saw him, I knew I wanted him. He was perfect and in the exact same situation as me. His wife pretty much told him that she had no interest in sex. She would put out if he really wanted it, but he said it always felt like she was doing him a favor. We hit it off and agreed to keep it strictly sexual. We meet once a week at different hotels or in his office after hours. The sex was and is amazing. The best either of us have ever had. We've tried every variation and fantasy we've ever wanted. We've been doing this for about a year now. Although we could easily fall in love and run off together, neither of us want to tear apart our families. I still love my husband, he just can't give me what I need. If I wasn't having an affair, I would probably have divorced him by now. I feel like my lover fills a void and allows me to continue in my marriage. I actually get along better with my husband now that I don't harbor so much resentment and anger at him. It's weird to write this and know that people will call me an S-slang or a hoe. But until you've been in my situation, you can't understand. For me, this is the solution that allows me to keep my family together. Something was missing in my life. It made me miserable and sad. I filled in the part of my marriage that was absent with someone else. It's not perfect. I wish my husband could give me what I need and would at least go to the doctor, but he can't or won't. I think the fact that he refuses to get his testosterone checked or even make an appointment shows how little he cares about my satisfaction or my feelings. I have no guilt. I'm doing what I need to do to keep my family together for my kids' sake. I'm actually pretty happy with my marriage as far as how we get along and the life we've created together. I know that if I got divorced, I wouldn't be any happier or better off. I picture our marriage like a 100-piece puzzle with 99 pieces all put together. I had to find that missing piece somewhere or scrap the whole thing. I'm not willing to throw away the other 99 pieces, so I do what I have to do. Comments. You say your marriage is otherwise perfect, pieces in the puzzle analogy, yet your husband would rather watch TV than engage you in conversation, let alone pay attention to what you were wearing, and ignored you while you cried for an hour. Seems like there's more than one piece missing from that puzzle. If you're curious of what it's like from the other end of the story, my mom has bitterly hated my dad for years and stayed with him just for us. I hate my dad too, but for different reasons. Growing up, I always wondered why we never did anything as a family, or if we did, it ended up with someone getting mad. It wasn't until years later that I learned that my parents hated each other, and I've got a lot of issues from it. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad my mom tried to fix what was broken rather than dump him and run. However, there's a point where you need to tell your SO that this is a make or break deal.